Welcome to Two Girls Talk Transits with our hosts.
Hi, I'm Maddie delrae. I'm a professional practicing astrologer with a focus more on Hellenistic traditional astrology and with an intense love and desire for predictive transiting astrology.
And I'm Kaleigh Smith. I'm a healing coach and art therapy grad student with a slight obsession with reading the stars. I combine astrology, spirituality, and traditional psychology to help people live with intention. Without further ado, we welcome you to Two Girls Talk Transits, where we talk about all the upcoming astrological transits and what you can do to keep yourself sane and absolutely aligned.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Two Girls Talk Transits. We'll be reviewing the astrology from April 14th through April 20th, and we're our hosts. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaleigh.
And welcome. So, we are coming off of that total solar eclipse in Aries that happened on the 8th, and that was that week with more challenges. From here, we start off this week on April 17th with Venus meeting the North Node. So, Venus is in Aries, and now she gets to meet the eclipse point of the North Node, intensifying all Venus kind of desires and needs and things that bring us a lot of passion into our lives.
Yeah, I think this will be like, what do you think? I think this will be kind of like the cool down of eclipse, like coming down from the heatedness and the like erratic energy. And it's nice that one of our first aspects is with Venus, because I feel like she's going to bring a little bit more sweetness into the mix since we've had such chaotic energy. Um, Even though everybody probably felt the eclipse differently, I know for me it's been just like high energy.
Mm.
How have you felt, or how did
Yeah,
you feel? Yeah.
it's just a lot. And I agree. Like, I think Venus coming into the North Node is like this cleanup, or, Venus is, the sign that often sweetens things or cools things down in a way that makes it more connective. So, her meeting the North Node is like this cooling it down. I mean, it's in Aries, it's going to be really fiery, but she makes it
Mm-hmm.
more palatable, more easier for us to digest, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is also interesting, meeting the North Node here. We're gonna have a chance to kind of assess which direction we want to go.
Mm.
Um, Especially I think with Venus here in regards to interpersonal relationships, can be partnerships or friendships or even family, but it can, kind of assess where we'd like to go based off of that desire principle that you talked about before, like tapping into what our desires are and how we'd like to move forward with that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because this could be like it's an intensification of what you're attracting into your life, right? With
Mhm.
Venus being the North Node. So then here's the point for you to evaluate that. Like, is this what I want to keep bringing in? Is this what I want to keep doing? Or has this eclipse showed me something that maybe it's time for me to switch directions and move my attachments or my energetic focus to a new desire or a new principle that I want to focus on instead?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think because the eclipse, if it didn't actually physically shake anything up, it might have really shook up your like internal world and your
Mm.
internal processing, and you might have come to some conclusions about what you'd like to step away from. So this is an opportunity to decide what you'd like to move towards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's the little bit of the like pulse check cleanup,
Mm-hmm.
move out. It's not all frustrating and difficult as it was probably the prior week. And
Mm-hmm.
we can start moving forward. This is still a really significant week.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, eclipses can be felt a couple weeks after they happen.
Yeah.
And we're still in Mercury retrograde this week. So
Yeah.
we still have some, it's still higher energy, it's still more intense. But should just be a little bit less than the week prior. But did you want to mention anything else about Venus
No,
this
I
month?
think that wraps that up. I think that that theme continues though, like it starts on the 17th, but it will continue a bit because Mercury retrograde then meets Venus on the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, it's I mean, it's just, it speaks to the Mercury retrograde cycle. It speaks to what you're reviewing. And then again, it comes back that element of, okay, this is what you're creating. This is what you're kind of manifesting into your reality as what you're attached to or what you want to desire to bring forth. Here's a review of that. You want to keep doing it? Are you ready to try something new?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. We talked about this before, but anytime a planet goes retrograde, it's like a review of that element, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. So with Mercury retrograde, we're likely reviewing past projects or past ideas. And then Mercury meeting here, or sorry, Venus meeting here. Yeah, we're likely reviewing those past desires. It's like, yeah, do we want to keep riding the same train? Do we want to go differently? Um, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice moment of review. And again, it's going to make the Mercury retrograde process a little bit easier too, just with
Mhm.
Venus in the mix of like, yeah, this review has helped me show that this is what I want to desire or create as part of my fiery inspiration for life now.
Yeah.
And it's part of that just retempering after the eclipses, really.
Yeah, we might feel even like more inspired about the direction we want to go, or it just might sit a little bit easier with us. Like, oh, this change or this new direction doesn't have to feel so bad. It can feel like actually like we can be inviting more ease into it
Mhm.
and more enjoyment and, more Venetian things, beauty, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's giving yourself a little like moment to take a deep breath and just like take a moment to pause and kind of come back to stillness and ease and pleasure of life instead of it all being a battle, which I feel
It
like
has felt
eclipses
like
can do. Yeah.
Lord, has it felt like it, especially in Aries. I don't know why I was thinking, oh, this one won't be so bad, but
No,
like,
and Aries is such a conflict driven sign.
mhm.
Like,
I don't vibe with Mars energy in general. Like, it's just not my thing. So I don't know why I was like, oh, this one won't be so bad for me. What was I thinking? I don't know. I literally don't
you were
know.
more worried about the Libra, which is fair,
I
but
think, yeah. I
yeah.
think, but why though? Because Libra, I felt like I didn't even notice because it's Venus ruled.
Yeah, and Venus was in a great space, so it was in like a
Mhm.
great place. So yeah, total different switch. But it's okay. You
Maybe,
get this to
yeah.
look forward to after.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And Aries dominant people are probably also feeling it. They're probably also feeling
Yeah.
extra spicy lately.
Any of your if you're a cardinal rising sign, again, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, you're gonna feel this too in your life in general, some aspect
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah, agreed.
But But it's okay. Don't worry, fixed signs, because your time is now. Um,
Yes, yes.
it is. So, we get off of this roller coaster of this eclipse, and we get these Venus aspects that helps us feel a little bit cleaner, but, we don't get a break at all because then we enter the big next signature of the month around the 19th and the 20th. So, the 19th, this is when the sun will enter into Taurus. We enter
Mhm.
into Taurus season. And this is where, if you remember, I've talked about hinted at this a lot, is the Jupiter Uranus coming together. And
Mhm.
they meet on the 20th, early on the 20th, and Mars and Pisces will also be making a sextile to both of them around the 19th and 20th.
Mhm.
So this is big.
Yeah, I remember we have been kind of thinking about this a lot, this meeting, this conjunction point. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So the sun entering Taurus is nice because, Taurus is also a Venus ruled,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, ruled sign. So that'll be a nice, I think, more Venus energy, more sweetness. Um, and then we have that Jupiter and Uranus also sitting in the sign of Taurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on in Taurus energy, but still, still
This
back.
is
Uh-huh.
well, this is like a long-term kind of aspect. So this
Yeah.
isn't like when we do these weekly podcasts, we often focus on a lot of things that are quick aspects and quick aspects you really notice on that particular day or around
Mhm.
that day. But Jupiter and Uranus, this has been a long-term game over the past year when Jupiter even first entered into Taurus in May.
Mhm.
And so this speaks more to the long-term changes or disruptions that has been occurring in your Taurus house. And this conjunction, while significant, may not be something particularly on this day unless you have like a planet. I believe it's at 21 degrees. Is the conjunction at 21 or 22?
I honestly would have to check. I didn't look at the chart.
Yeah, I would have to look. But if you have a planet at 21 or 22, I'll correct myself once I learn. Um, you're especially in a fixed sign, so Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, or Aquarius, you're gonna get more of that conjunction felt directly in your chart versus more of a general collective feeling,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, because I know it will be at the later degrees.
It's a 20, it's a 21,
Mhm.
later 21. So anything though within the 3 degrees of 21, so like up to like 19 to like 24 degrees, you're
Mhm.
gonna feel it, you know?
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we have because I know we only have Jupiter lingering in Taurus here for like the next month or two because it's going to
Yeah.
transition to Gemini, I think on the 25th of May.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yep.
that's when that cycle really will start to, you'll be able to look past over a year and be like, what did Jupiter bring in terms of expansion or abundance or growth in the sign of Taurus, the house that Taurus rules for me?
Yeah, so it will be actually a really unique reflection point. You can, if you're familiar with your chart, or if it's something that you look at regularly, even if it's not, I would encourage you to do so and kind of spend some time just reflecting on where Jupiter has spent, like you mentioned, Maddie, in the last year of your chart. And where have you seen that significant growth and how have you seen that growth? And this can kind of just, if you're like an astrology nerd, like me and Maddie, it can kind of just inform you about, kind of how Jupiter operates in your life, how it kind of functions. And yeah, it can just be interesting and unique to look at. And then you can kind of do a tiny bit of projection as, Jupiter will move to the next house later in May.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's kind of astrology. You always learn astrology anyway by when you first start off by retroactively looking at events
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out the relationship between what was in the sky and what happened. And then from there, you just take those and pattern those out, and that's how you do predictive astrology. But
Mm-hmm.
so that's always a good reflection point. But I mean, too, it's just the Uranian or the Uranian element of this is too is that not only is this thing expanding in your life, but it's also changing. Like you're going through a significant change, and that can be challenging because we usually love Jupiter a lot. We're always like, Jupiter brings the biggest gifts and the biggest abundance and blessings. But when it's mixed with Uranus, there's this element of uncertainty and being more ungrounded than an earth sign like Taurus wants to be, where there's something changing and being disrupted, something's being discontinued, and you're expanding into something that's new and potentially scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made a really good point there. Yeah, you actually reflected on something that I wanted to say, but it's funny that you ended up
Yeah, because I was like, wait, this is not all like good. I feel
Yeah.
like looking back in my life, like I've had some things that have been like jarring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you really highlighted some really important things that Uranus energy is very unpredictable.
Hmm.
And are especially as you also mentioned, like Taurus likes predictability, it likes stability, it likes predictability. So this can be a jarring aspect actually, because it can kind of, rattle us or enlighten something within us that we don't necessarily want to change, or we're not exactly motivated to change, but nonetheless is going to change. And in a big way because Jupiter is touching it. So Jupiter expands on whatever energy it passes through. So if it passes through a malefic, it's going to expand the malefic. If it
Mhm.
passes through a benefic, it's going to expand the benefic. Uranus in general it's not considered benefic or malefic,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, at least in traditional astrology, the three outer planets aren't really considered either benefic or malefic, but however you want, they all have both, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, every planet has the good and the bad. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, even Venus, as we were talking about that earlier, too much Venus can be like overindulgence.
Yeah, too much ease, too much
Mm.
setting back. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we will be experiencing some kind of larger significant change, I would say. What would you say? I would say in the week, like preceding and after, post.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I would definitely be paying attention to before and after, but just generally too, as we are in Taurus season, just having other planets in Taurus is going to prolong those energies for the rest of Taurus season. So I
Mhm.
feel like it will probably start to really be louder this later April, but continue to unfold. And maybe around the 19th, 20th, you do experience some sort of bigger disruption. If you don't feel it personally, maybe a collective experience. Mundane astrology, I feel like Taurus, they say Taurus rules a lot about the food, like the food availability or the food transportation of food, and also things like natural disasters and weather.
Mm, interesting. So, like on a larger scale level, those can be some things that we could look out for. It's
Yeah.
interesting the progression, I think, also of like the events. Like we just had like whatever area the eclipse happened in, like lit up Aries, like
Yeah.
hardcore. There was so much energy there. And now we still have some things going on in Aries, but now we have this progression into Taurus energy, with the sun moving here. Like you said, Jupiter and Uranus have been there for a while, but we have this kind of progression happening in the next like evolution,
Yeah.
next space.
Yeah, it's like I like that because it's like you can even include Pisces, right? With the Mars Saturn
Yeah.
happening in Pisces. So, some sort of ongoing battle or conflict happening in an area of the Pisces life of where there's a lot of change ongoing, which
Hmm.
then inspires you to take a significant big beginning or change direction of your energy, which is, very fire, which then ripple effects to a significant long-term change of your foundation and your overarching kind of layer of life and connection with the world.
That's such a good point. Now maybe it's like, you have the idea first and then it moves to the foundational changes next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then you'll tailor it and refine it when you move to that
Into
next
Gemini.
mutable sign.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gemini is all about assessing the details. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
It's the progression of life. It's how beautiful it is. It's all going to change. So,
Yep.
ooh, this will be an interesting week to watch and see how it unfolds. And definitely for yourself, just pay attention, just be aware of the interesting little events that occur and what opportunities are being presented to you to make some sort of change that maybe you're asking for.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about change so much on the podcast, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
now
hope.
it's here.
What'd you say?
So now it's here.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. I hope you guys have a good week ahead, and yeah, enjoy this like post-eclipse week. I hope it's a little bit softer than the previous week.
Yeah, and if you hear us talk about all the houses and things and you don't actually know that in your birth chart, Kaleigh is offering birth chart readings. So follow her. I think the link will be on her Instagram bio and heal dot on earth,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, and you offer birth chart readings too.
Yes, so you can come to me as well if you like my style or if you want to do more predictive readings. I do a lot of transit astrology readings as well. So
Yes.
solar returns and your future.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So I'll have those linked into the notes of the podcast as well. You can follow us on Instagram as well and TikTok for Two Girls Talk Transits. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.